Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, love bugs. So go ahead and let everybody know your favorite motivator's favorite motivator is on, and we're about to get started today talking about cutting people off because I know we all got some toxic folks in our life, and it's time for them people to go. All right.
The enigmatic entrepreneur whose words will make you sure. Know, trust, and believe. The master teacher has come to help you succeed. The gem dropper, the truth speaker, the voice in the universe that will bring you to your highest peak. Welcome to the Get High on Motivation show with Mimi the Motivator, your favorite motivator's favorite motivator.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, love bugs. It is your favorite motivator's favorite motivator, Mimi the Motivator. Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome back to another episode. This is our last episode of this season. Can you believe that we have been going 4 years strong together? That's a long relationship, y'all. I don't even think I've been in a love relationship this long. And I've been with y'all now for 4 years. Woo! All right, let's get it. So, I am a holistic leadership development expert, which means I coach people, I teach people how to be a coach. I just like helping people take what's in their head and make it happen in reality, because whatever's in your mind, you deserve to have. I believe that whatever was in your mind was planted right inside of you so you can make it come to pass. It's not for nobody else to do but you. So let's make it happen, Captain. So every show we have some food for thought, and then we'll roll into our conversation. I got a few technical things that need to happen over here. That's why I need a whole staff, y'all. I've definitely gotten to that point. It's ridiculous. All right, so here is our food for thought. Food for thought comes from Earl Nightingale. He's one of my favorite people, one of my favorite teachers. He inspired us to have our billionaire mornings, and a lot of the stuff that we listen to comes from him. But today I got some words that I have not seen, but I totally agree with, which says whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. So I'm going to repeat that for the people in the back. Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion, got to have that emotion in there, will one day become reality. So that's what affirmations are. So on Billionaire Mornings, we say affirmations every single day. Some of them are the same and some of them are some different affirmations, but we are saying affirmations. I write them down, which I feel like doubly puts it in my head, but we have to repetition this thing. We have to say it over and over and over, but you can't just say it any kind of way. If you are saying affirmations, you have to say affirmations like you believe them, like you're trying to convince your neighbors that they need to believe in them too. You have to say affirmations like it's already done. You got to say affirmations like you saying abracadabra. And if you don't know what the word abracadabra means, that means what I'm saying is about to pop off. You have that power. You have power, life, and death in your tongue. So use that power. Use it to your best advantage. You get to speak into your own ears. Program yourself. Quit letting everybody else program you, because it's going to happen. One way or the other is what Dick Gregory said. You're going to get programmed. So you may as well program yourself. So decide, what does that program look like? That program needs to look like, what is it that you want to manifest? What do you want to really experience in your life? And start affirming it in the present, in the now, and affirm it daily. You can't just say the affirmations one time. You got to it's got to be like a broken record. Let me ask you this. Be honest with me. Do you have a song that you play over and over and over? Is there any song that you have listened to over and over and over? You might play it every day, or you've been playing it for years. Come on, man. I know I got one. I will play Drake's Successful. I used to run it backwards. I'm talking about, we're not backwards. We call it on replay over and over and over and over and over. That's how we have to do with the affirmations. You might want to listen to some affirmation songs. Look up my boy Londrell out of Atlanta. He's got some of the best affirmation songs out there. We have to keep repeating what we want to experience, what we want to speak into existence. So be sure that you are getting in the mirror and say them affirmations to yourself. Look yourself dead in the face and tell you what you need to hear. It's up to you. We keep on waiting for other people to affirm us. We want other people to say the sweet nothings in our ear. Speak your own sweet nothings in your ear, love bug. You deserve it. You deserve to hear that you are wonderfully and fearfully made. You deserve to hear that you are capable of doing all things, but you have to say these things in your own voice. You have to say, I am enough. I am more than enough. That I am blessed and unstoppable. I am a no limit manifester. I am unfuckwithable. We say that one every day with the strongest emotion that I think it tickles us all. But that's how we know we're on the right track. Because if you don't feel some type of way when you're saying these words, then you're not doing it right. The affirmations are not really what it is. It's not the words we're speaking. It's the emotion that we're conjuring up and the message that goes along with it. Just think about it. When something really great has happened, you remember everything about that moment. Just like if something really bad has happened, you remember everything in that moment because it was tied to that emotion. Is how our mind works. You ain't got to be a psychologist. You ain't got to understand mind and subconscious mind and how the brain works. None of that. All you need to know is that if you say these words and say them like you mean them, say them with power, say them with conviction, say them with compassion, say them like it's already done. And so it will be. Okay? And so it is. That's what I always like to end my affirmations with. And so it is. And I say it in my Iyanla Vanzant voice. And so it is. Or Maya Angelou. And so it is. Because they have those voices where it feels like if they say it, it is. It's done. It's said. It's done. And we're going to move on. All right. So before I move into today's conversation, I definitely want to encourage you to go to courses.evolvemeuniversity.com and see what might be available for you. And to even put in some requests for something that you might want to learn, because there is a growing online school that is going to be working on the mind, body, and spirits, because those are the 4 pillars of wealth. In case you didn't know, it ain't just money. Too many people think that just the money is what makes you wealthy. No, boo-boo. You got to have more than money to be wealthy. You got to be good in your mental, first and foremost. You got to be good in your heart, in your spirit space. You got to be good financially, yes, but you also need to be good in your body. You need to be physically strong. What good would it do to have $1 billion in the bank and you sitting there tied up to machines and stuff and something breathing for you, something feeding you, eating for you? Come on, man. Something's using the bathroom for you. That's not wealth. So real wealth is having all 4 of those things in place. So let's get this conversation today started about toxic people and cutting they ASS's off, because it's time for them to go. It is officially cutoff season. So I want to say thank you for everybody who sent me birthday wishes over this past couple of days. Let me tell you something. Every time my birthday comes up, it is cutoff season in my life. It's like the new year. And I am deciding who is going into my new season, my new year with me. And I want to encourage you and invite you to do the same. So there's 2 things that I want you to walk away with today. One is that you have to identify who these people are that need to be removed from your life. And secondly, do it. Decide who needs to be cut off and cut them off. Now, I ain't going to say it's easy. I'm not going to say it's going to feel good. It's actually going to feel good afterwards, but you don't know that part yet. But you have to recognize that you have an obligation to yourself. A lot of us operate off this obligation to other people, but you have an obligation first and foremost to yourself, to put yourself in an environment that you can succeed in, because our environment can dictate so much. You have to change what you see sometimes. You got to change some of the people that you are interacting with, because whoever we hang out with is who we are going to be like with. I don't care if we don't think our feathers are their color, because you know they say birds of a feather flock together. And somebody always say, well, no, my colors ain't that feathery. Obviously so. Maybe if you only got one of them, you got something in common with this person that you're being in communication with, interaction with, in relationship with. And there's some relationships that we know that we have been carrying on too long. We've been dragging along too long. And today, little bug, we cutting them off. Okay? Let me tell you how you know who you need to cut off. Now, understand these are probably going to be people that have been in your life for a long, long time, because we tend to give more leeway for those folks, right? So if there is somebody who is draining you, your conversation with them, when you get off the phone, you feel like, ugh. You feel like, I don't want to talk to this person anymore. And you love them, but you're like, I can't do this anymore. If you have a person who calls you and every time they call you, they dumping their stuff off on you, dumping their problems off on you, that is a toxic person. Because see, some people will only share their bad stuff with you. They don't even share the wins and celebrations. They call you when things aren't going right. They call and dump all this stuff right in your ear, right in your subconscious mind. Keep in mind, we need to program ourselves. And if they are calling us consistently with this mess, this is what they're programming us with. Let's talk about some other people in our life that might be toxic people. Some of these people are people that we have recognized they can't celebrate with us. We share our win with them and they don't get excited. If they're a real friend, if they're a real business partner, if they're really a team member, they should get excited because you're excited. You called to share your accomplishment with them and they just was like, oh, okay, that's good. Excuse me? You're supposed to feel my excitement the same way you're supposed to feel my pain, or the way you're expecting for me to feel your pain. Am I lying? They want us to feel them. They want us to support them. And when they do have a win, they want us to be happy with them. But are they doing the same for us? Relationships should have reciprocity in them. And it doesn't mean that we do the exact same thing for each other, but there should be something I gain, some value I gain out of being in this relationship, and not only you the one gaining it. I'm just your listening ear. I'm just your shoulder to cry on. But when I'm ready to cry, you don't even answer the phone or return a text. That doesn't work at all. Point blank, period, end of story. Some of us maybe need to identify, are we the toxic people in our relationships? Are we the ones who are being that way? Are you reciprocating? Because this is not just about them. It's about us as well, because we're not listening to the show for other people to become better. We're listening to get our motivation so we can become 1% better in our lives daily. So let's look at ourselves and let's think about who do we might need to cut ourselves off from. So while I'm talking about that, think about sometimes people attach themselves to you. And it's not even that you're attached to them. They're attached to you. They don't want to let you go. They see the gold in you. They see the glitter. They see the glow up happening in your life, and they want to be a part of that. They want to be a part of that bandwagon. They're not really there to support you and be on the team with you. They're just a fan, and they want to get some of the stuff that comes along with being your friend or being your boo. Come on, that's right. We got to weed them out. We have to weed out the people who are no longer fit to be in our lives. They might have used to fit us a long time ago when we was in this other little space, when we was low vibrational, when stuff was going bad and we was in rock bottom. But now that we have grown up, now that we have gotten our spirit up and gotten our energy up, we got to be protective of this thing. We got to have a spiritual spacesuit. Let's talk about that for week 1 of the new season. Because we are responsible for us. We're responsible for our own happiness. And if there is somebody that is coming into our awareness or in our space that is a threat to our peace, a threat to our happiness, a threat to us just being cool, that person has to go, love bug. It's time to cut them off. And like I said, it's going to be difficult, but you can do it. Erase the number, block the number. Block the number, then erase it. Don't do it in the opposite way because it won't work, okay? Let's do things in order, operations, right? Do them in order. Block them. You don't owe them an explanation. You may have owed them a conversation. If you've already had the conversation, then go ahead and block them. But I do want to encourage you to be sure that you have had an effective conversation with these people before you cut them off. At least be sure that you have said ouch and you have let this person know this is what's going on. This is how it makes me feel. This is what you can do about it or not. Because it's totally up to them. If they want to be in your life, then they're going to make the necessary steps. They're going to make the changes. They're going to do what needs to be done and make it happen. But if they really don't care enough, and they know, these people know who they are. Let's just be 100. These people know who they are. They know the ones. They know that they're bad for you. They know that they don't even mean you any good. They know how they're treating you. They know that they ignored you. They know that they played you to the left. They know all these things. We don't even have to tell them. Let me tell y'all something. We're too old for this. We're too old to think that we still need to tell people how to behave in a way that is okay for us, that is respectful of our space. We don't have to tell them. They know. The only thing we may owe it to them is to let them know how it affects us and what we would like to see differently. But after you have that conversation, then you don't see any change, move on. You can't keep on beating people over the head to love you the right. You can't beat them over the head to be a good friend to you. That is something that comes naturally. It is something that somebody desires to do. And if they don't have a desire to pour into you the way you have poured into them, it's time for them to go. Think about it. Who is it? Who got to go in your life? Is it a best friend? Is it an ex? Is it a business partner? Is it your friend from high school or college that you still just been hanging on to? Who is it? Be honest and start on the process of cutting them off, what that looks like to you in reality, because some of these people are very close to us. And I get it. And also, I also know that the people who are closest get it the most. We have very little room for error with people who are close to us, especially if we like them, especially new people. New people, we don't get them no space. We don't get them no grace. They mess up, we see one red flag and we out the door. And then we got these toxic people that we've been hanging on to, and we always working it out and trying to figure the thing out. You know, maybe if it's the kids that's toxic, then we're going to have to talk about that. It could be your children that's toxic. It could definitely be that. It could be your parents that are toxic. What you have to do is be mindful of when you are investing time with these people, because it's not spending, it's investing. How are we going to interact with them? What are we going to do to demonstrate a different behavior? Because sometimes we can set the tone with our own behavior. A lot of us, and I'm going to speak for myself, are enabling people to be toxic in our life. We are enabling and encouraging their behavior because we don't say no, because we don't put our foot down, because we have not identified clear boundaries. Children need clear boundaries. When they have clear boundaries, they respect them. Don't act like you don't know about that child who acts one way with one person and acts completely different with the other. They do everything this parent says or this adult says, and then they go home to mom or dad and run amok. I'm not lying. I know what I'm talking about. I used to run a before and after school program at a Catholic school, and these parents would come in there and say, "How do you get my kids to do?" I would say, "What do you mean? It's not an option." The children knew what was an option and what was not an option with me. The people in our lives need to know what is an option and what is not an option with me. There's 4 questions all of us need to be able to answer. Who are you? What is it that you desire? What are you willing to do to get it, and what are you not willing to do? What are you willing to deal with out of people, and what are you not willing to deal with? You have to identify that. You can't expect for other people to create boundaries in your life. You can't expect for people to make decisions based upon your happiness. That's your job. It's your happiness. It's your life. It's your relationship. So take responsibility in your relationships and make the moves that you have to make, uncomfortable or not. It's time for us to say goodbye to some uncomfortable comfort zones. You know what I'm talking about. These people that they just been in our life for a long time. They know us. We know them. We know how they act. They know how we act, and we can act a fool and we can still call them tomorrow. It's time for those people to go. If you can act a fool and call them tomorrow, and you can keep acting a fool and calling them tomorrow, it's time for those people to go. Because there's some people who are enabling our bad behaviors. If you're trying to stop drinking and they still talking about meet me at the bar, that's a bad person. If you're trying to stop smoking and they trying to light up in your face, that's a bad person for you to be around. And I know people aren't good or bad, but there are better and best and not so great folks. And we got to be able to clearly identify who these people are, sift through them. Like Erykah Badu said, pick your friends like you pick your fruit. Now, I know some of us like to make banana pudding out of them bananas that's going bad or something like that, but I need you to go for the ripe fruit that is ripe for you, for right now, for you to consume. Because there are people who are ready to be in your life, but you so focused on these toxic folks, trying to heal them and trying to fix them. Honey, fix yourself, heal yourself, and move on to people who are already healed, whole, and complete, and who know what that looks like, who knows what that feels, can pour maybe some healing into you. It is your obligation to yourself to create the environment. If you know that you are an average of the top 5 people that you invest your time and energy with, identify these people who are going to be your 5 from now on. I don't care who been your 5. I don't care. Cut them off, keep on moving. They feelings hurt, that's they bad. They could have did better in your life when they were present. And if they decided not to do right, and they didn't find you valuable enough to do the right things when they had you in their life, then bye-bye. That's what you're going to tell them. Bye-bye. It's going to be a silent bye-bye. But if you don't want to be a silent bye-bye, you don't want to cut them off without one, I understand. What I will encourage you to do is to use a feeling technique letter. Google that, y'all. A feeling technique letter. And it will take you through the emotions. It's going to start with the rage, the anger, the mad, the upsetness. It's going to take you through the sadness. It's going to take you through the fear. And then it'll take you back to a place of love. So that way you can cut these people off in love. We're not going to cut them off in fear. We're not going to cut them out of a hate. We're cutting them off in love because, first of all, we love ourselves enough. And we love them as well enough to know that this relationship doesn't serve either one of us. Because if it's not serving you, love bug, it's not serving them either. So let them go. Release them. Do it however you have to do it. Whatever you got to do. What I highly encourage you to do is to do a cord cutting meditation. And maybe we can take these last couple of minutes to do a really quick one to give you an idea of what that looks like. So whatever you're doing, get comfortable if you can. Close your eyes or drop them to a low gaze. And I want you to start taking some deep breaths. And standing before you, I want you to imagine this person who you know you have to cut off. Even if it is your child, and you know you can't get rid of them, that's okay. We're just going to cut off the unhealthy parts of the relationship. So that way you can reconnect with these people in a healthier, more beneficial way, okay? So see the person standing in front of you, but at a comfortable distance. They don't need to be too close. And what I want you to imagine is that you can see these cords going from your body to their body, maybe from your head, from your heart. See it however you see it. They can be thick cords, thin cords. They can have color. They can be black. It doesn't matter. However you see these cords going from you to this toxic person. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to take out the sharpest weapon you can think of and cut those cords. And allow those cords to drop to the ground and see them coil up and disintegrate. Now start taking some deep breaths where you're breathing in some cleansing, white, golden white energy. And start breathing it in more. And imagine that the deeper you breathe in this energy, that you're starting to cleanse away the roots of these cords and any remnants or any yuckiness that they may have left behind. Cleanse yourself with these breaths. Now I want you to start breathing a little deeper and start pushing that light out to the other person so it envelops them and cleanses them as well. We don't want any remnants on either side of this thing. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out, and just see that cleansing energy. Now bring that energy and that light back to yourself and bring it back into your heart where you can keep it and hold on to it for later. So anytime you feel like you need to cleanse yourself, you're going to start breathing deep and grow that light and cleanse yourself, cleanse the area that you're in. One final deep breath and maybe hold it in for a few seconds. And then let it out with a sigh. And blink your eyes open. Love bugs, no matter who is in our life and how we are attached, connected, or related to them, we can have healthier relationships with them starting today. But we're going to start with cleansing ourselves and letting go of our own stuff. And we're going to start vibrating higher. So that way, one thing that's for sure is that when we start vibrating higher, those toxic people won't even want to come around us. We'll be too happy for them. We'll be too calm for them. I remember when I used to be too calm for people. We'll be in such a different way that they know they can't approach us. It doesn't even feel right for them. So be ready for some people to stop calling you. Not just you no longer calling them. Be ready for some people to no longer reach out to you. Be ready for some people to just drop. And you're like, what happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. The universe heard you. The ancestors heard you. And they started moving on your behalf and started creating a division between you and them. The universe knows what's inside of you. The universe knows what you're worthy of. The universe knows what you desire. And the universe also knows that these toxic people have been blocking your manifestations. These toxic people have been blocking your peace and your happiness. So today, love bugs, we cutting them off. Period. If you need help cutting somebody off, you reach out to me. I'll give you some hints. I am the queen of the cutoff. I've cut my parents off before. I cut my daddy off. I've cut my siblings off. I will cut anybody off because I am responsible for my own energy and I have to protect this thing. I got to protect my mind space. I got to protect my mind space and my heart space because this is where I create from. And if my mind or my ear is bogged down with what I call spam, somebody calling me with the junk, with the gossip, with all they bad news, I can't. I can't be in that vibrational space, and neither can you. And that's why we have to start protecting ourselves from these people by creating ourselves a new environment, picking out some new friends. I don't care if your friends got to be digital friends that you don't even know in real life. I don't care. If it's Abraham Hicks and you make sure that you listen to Abraham Hicks an hour a day every day, so that way Abraham Hicks is in your top 5. Do what you got to do to ensure that your happiness is intact, that your peace is intact, and that your money is intact too. Because these people are standing in our way. We have allowed them. We are holding them. I'm not going to say that they're standing. We're holding them in our way. So let's let them go. Let's release them and send them off with love. We ain't got to send them off cussing. We're going to send them off with love and know that everything is always working out for us and it will also work out for them because the universe is at work. I am Mimi the Motivator, your favorite motivator's favorite motivator. And this is our last episode of this season. I can't believe it. I'm tired, y'all, but I'm ready for the next season. I'm ready to see you next week. So know that things are going to be slightly different, but I'll be here for you. And I'll be ready to pour into you and to figure out how can we become 1% better today because we deserve it. We deserve a better life, and a better life deserves us. Keep on tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Share this with somebody you know you need to share this with. Share it with yourself if you got to listen again. I definitely appreciate you being here. Y'all just don't know. I love you. Be happy. Be healthy. But you know what I want from you the most. I want you to be you. Be your authentic self because your authentic